community, and therefore the entire country was lack of knowledge and training. So she starts a movement to train, impart skills, incubate, handhold, and accelerate anybody who desires to economically lift oneself. Allison creates opportunities for small business people, especially women, by providing access to information, regulatory, banking, and support services. 70,000 visitors, correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, here. 70,000 visitors every month visit her platform, Bolivia Emprende. She has empowered more than 1,000 entrepreneurs so far. She is winner of Top Outstanding Young People Award. She is an Ashoka Fellow, a change maker. On a personal level, Allison is a very close and a dear friend. Allison, over to you. You're welcome again.
Hi, Praveen. I am really happy to be here with you, and I feel very honored to stay here with all of you. Thank you for the invitation, and I didn't know that I was the first. I will do my best, I promise. And Gotham, thank you again for this space and for this special moment. Praveen and Gotham, thank you very much. I will start. I will be very brief because you said a lot. Praveen, you said you were very generous with your words, but I just do what I love from my country. I live in Bolivia. I live in La Paz. It's the capital of my country. And it's very interesting because I will share some slides with you to share you what I do and why do I do this. Before this, I would like to share that to share with you that when all the things that happened to me in my life, I think that I feel very blessed because there were a lot of opportunities that were made by other people. They wanted they were looking for many change makers in my country. Unfortunately, they chose me. They chose me 11 years ago to be part of Georgetown University, to be part of a global program, and that's when everything starts. So I will show you some pictures because I would like to share that with you first, and I would like to talk about social entrepreneurship and why this is so important for everybody, and why this kind of small businesses are so important in our world, and how can we make a huge impact to create more opportunities for other people, in my case, for women. So here it is. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So my name is Allison Silva, and I really like this kind of pictures because it's about collaboration, it's about teamwork, it's about that we all together can build a better world, can build a lot of opportunities, can build many, many, many things for our society. I live in Bolivia, we're in South America, and we are very happy. And this is my city. This is a view because we have a mountain over there, and it's called Illimani. This is my city. We are in Bolivia. We are around 12 million people, and we are divided in many, many cities. So what we do is for this at the beginning. Next year, we are going to expand our operations and our activities to other countries in Latin America. So when we are talking about social entrepreneurs, I would like to start with this concept. It's a little and a small concept, but it's social entrepreneurs seek to implement widespread improvements in society. And however, is a social entrepreneur must still be financially savvy to succeed in his or her cause. This is very important because when we started our mission, our activities, we wanted to make a huge impact, me and my team, but we also wanted to obtain incomes in order to be there forever for our beneficiaries. So that's why we started to do this. And something that is very important and a social entrepreneur is that we are changing the world for the better. So we detect problems. We are always looking for problems. Problems are opportunities for us, and we try to solve them, not alone, but with other people, with other institutions, collaborating with other people that want to help us to build these kind of solutions. So why do we do this? And that's very important to mention. This is because when I had the opportunity to travel to the United States, it was that trip was transformational for me, and because I studied with many people, and that now is very. For example, I met the current president of Ecuador, Guillermo Lasso. I met a lot of past presidents. I met a lot of young people that now are making huge decisions for their countries. We were well trained to see the world and to see how can we make a better world? How can we make a multiplier effect? How can we together make opportunities for other people? Because in some way we were privileged to be there. I need to be honest with you, and I felt very, I don't know, very strange when I was in the United States in my first time, and it was like a dream, but not because just the country, but because the culture, because the people, because the traditions, because the knowledge, because the technology, because everything was like very different from my country. And I met a lot of great people that years later become some of my partners, and we established a very collaborative relationships in which everybody won. So that's why it's important to mention this part, because I strongly believe that when you are in other countries, fortunately I've been in your country, I've been in India 3 years ago. I understood many things from many countries, from United States, Colombia, India, Switzerland, France, and every country I visit. And I said, how can we make more opportunities for people that lives in Bolivia, in my case? And this was because 5 things. The first of all, teamwork. When you're a social entrepreneur, you try to be a hero, but you're not a hero. You need a team. You need people that follow your dream, and they can work with you in order to build these kind of solutions. So that's why I strongly believe that I wouldn't be kind of this successful in a way in my country if I wouldn't have a strong team. All of them believe in what I believe. They know why I do this, so they follow this dream and they join this dream, and we build solutions together. So the team is very important. The second thing is that we have very clear multiplier effect. What some people when I received the scholarship to go to the United States, I was very clear. Someone made this opportunity for me. Someone believed in me. So my responsibility is to create more opportunities for more people. So I can do this multiplier effect, and I can spread these opportunities in the region, in my country. So that's why 11 years ago, I started this journey. The other thing that I really love is Semper Magis. It's in Latin, and it means serve other people with love. Serve. And fortunately, Georgetown is a Jesuit university. I went to a school that is Jesuit as well. So Semper Magis is kind of our philosophy. And I have that like tattoo in my skin, because it's like, how can you serve other people with love? But always with a strategy as well, because love is good, but how can you serve in a very efficient way in order to reach more people? The fourth is think global and act local. You have to have your baby steps first in your city, but you have to think global. I feel very blessed. I am blessed. I totally, before the pandemic, I used to travel a lot. And I had the opportunity to visit many countries, around 30, not as many as Praveen, but I visited a lot of countries. I've learned from a lot of cultures. I've learned a lot of methodologies of how to be more efficient, how to make more impact. So I was always thinking global, but going back to my country, I used to act local and create local projects, and then scale these projects to make more impact. And the last and the most important, be a change maker. This is very important. If you are in living this life, you have to leave a legacy. You have to 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 build something that would be very important for other people in order to improve their lives. So that's what I feel. And 3 or 4 years ago, I was nominated to be an Ashoka Fellow. I felt very honored because it was my dream since I was a child to be an Ashoka Fellow, and then I made it. But I don't made it because I was a hero. It was because all the impact that we were making around the country and around the country, basically in my cities. So what do we do with my team? What's the problem? And the problem is that we are very oriented to create opportunities for small and medium businesses, because but these ones that are in subsistence level and in informal and formal. Because in my country, 8 of every 10 businesses are informal because of our economy, and because of many other reasons. So we are a very informal country in talking about small businesses. Um, we want to give them a lot of methodologies, tools, many other strategies in order that they can earn more money. They in order that they can create more jobs, in order that they can improve their quality of life. So we were very focused on soft skills and technical skills for these people. But besides this, we help them to change their mindsets. Because when you are, and as a country, and as a team, and as a company, and as a person, something that you have to change. And that's why I think Georgetown was it was very important for me, is because I changed my mindset. It was not my mindset of my country, my city. No, it was a regional mindset. It was like we need to change the world in order to create more things, more projects, more opportunities for more people. This is very challenging, to be honest. It's not easy. It sounds very easy, but it is not, because we are doing this for the last 6 years with a lot of wins, but with a lot of loss as well. And one of our more something that is very challenging, for example, is to work with the government. Something, because of the political situation in my country, something that is very challenging is how can we create the perfect tool that will help to the entrepreneur, the perfect tool that will help to the women. So that's why we are working a lot with my team to create these kind of opportunities. These are some of my students, my entrepreneurs. We work a lot with to create collaboration, to change their minds, to change their way of being. Most of them are successful now because of our methodologies. But this is important because we try to create very strong relationships between them, so they can create more businesses in the future. So we work a lot in this magic word that is trust. So we work a lot in that. We work a lot in very technological skills, management skills, innovation skills, all of the skills that are needed for small businesses, and we do that. And this is our second program that is called the 360 Effect Women and Tech. I am a system engineer, so I strongly believe that the, the, the jobs of the future, if they are not of the present, are in technology. So we are providing the girls between 15 and 22 years opportunities to obtain technological skills. Today we have a graduation. 200 of them are graduating because they finish our program this year in our fourth edition. And this is very important because I strongly believe that technology is the future, if not the present, but technological skills are very important for girls especially. This program started 3 years ago, is the newest, but after 3 years, now we have the forum, the program, the bootcamp, and many other kinds of training for them. So we are very, very lucky because we could reach people and young girls from the rural area, young girls that didn't have access to internet, and young girls that didn't have access to the devices, the needed devices that are needed to build prototypes, to build software, to build code. So that's what we do now. This is our impact. Is a summary of what we do. We have our purpose, and that's very important when you are a social entrepreneur, because you just don't want to have more incomes, but you want basically we want to change the mindset of the people, collaborating with them and teaching them how collaboration is so important for everybody. And we work with in inclusivity and creating opportunities for them. So that's our purpose, and we live for that, and we try to do this every day. We focus in 3 areas. I explained you the projects that we are working on, but the 3 areas that we work are education, technology, and entrepreneurship. Everything that is related with this is very important for us. And what's our traction? The last 5 to 6 years, we train around 7,000 people with our tools. We pre-accelerate around 240 small companies, not so small to be honest, but we accelerated them. 40% of our participants are women. That's very important for us. We created six toolkits to give them the tools in a very specific way, with methodologies that were proven during the last 6 years. And we have until today, we will have around 600 women that were trained in technology. And besides that, because we are very worried about the ecosystem, the digital ecosystem in our country, we wrote 2 reports, 2 national reports. They weren't wrote before us. We were the first ones, the first institutions. Of course, we collaborate with other institutions, and we decided to create this with them, to write these reports in order to see what are the potential of the technological industry in my country. So this is presented every year. So we write reports, national reports, to give information to other people in a free way. What else do you want? Would you like to know from me? This. I strongly believe that every opportunity that you have in your life, you have to share it with other people. And I really love this quote. I think it's one of the quotes that leads my life. Is you do not deserve the opportunities you have in life if you're not able to fight for others to have them. We provide a lot of scholarships. I work very hard in order to work with other institutions to create these opportunities for entrepreneurs, small businesses, for women, and we try to create the best experience for them in order that they feel that they deserve these opportunities, in order that they change their mindset, they change their life, they see a better future. So this is what me and my team do every day. And I'm sure that we change a lot of lives. I'm sure that we are going to scale the programs in a bigger way. I'm sure that we are changing their lives, and that's very important for us. Um, this is my short presentation because I would like to answer your questions if it's possible, if you have any. But and this is my contact information. This is part of my team. Um, we have we are national. We reach all the cities in my country, rural in an urban cities. But the important thing here is we're here to create opportunities. We are here to change their lives, people's lives, and we are here to create more information. Because if we don't have these opportunities, if we don't have where to find these opportunities, many people will never change their lives. So this is Praveen. Thank you. I will stop my sharing my last slide.
Thank you, Allison. That was great indeed. Now I'll straight away start asking questions to you, Allison. And this particular one is from me, Allison. So the East, the countries in East, let's say India, China, Korea, their independence is about 75 years or 80 years at max. In Latin America, most countries have got independence almost 200 years ago, right? Why do you think still there is no progress economically in Latin America compared to we have countries in the East or the progress in the Eastern countries? This is question one. And question two, rolled in this, is that why do Latin American countries still depend on extraction economy?
Yeah, that's something. Oh, two very interesting questions. Well, I think yes, we are independent countries since 200 years ago. But the thing is that, for example, in my country, just 60 years ago, people could vote to access to democracy, and women couldn't vote. And many indigenous people couldn't vote. So that was a barrier to develop the countries. The other thing I think is we have a lot of dictators. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we were still on a dictator. We didn't have democracy. So we are very young in that way. So I think that's another problem because in the 80s, almost all the countries have a dictator as a president. So that was very bad for us as well. And we are very new in democracy in Latin America, not just Bolivia. But other thing that I think that is happening because we are speaking the same language. We speak Spanish, except Brazil, that they speak Portuguese. But it's very different, and I think one of the words that is very bad for us is corruption. I think that we have a lot of things to share as a continent, but the thing is that for some reason we had a lot of petroleum, oil, gas, and we established all of our economy on this kind of things. And we didn't just, I think 15 or 10 years ago, we started to establish all our efforts in education, access to health, education and health especially. So I think that we have a lot of things to do. We had a lot of big problems as a continent. Drugs is another kind of problem that we have. But I strongly believe that we want the change. So that's why many young people is working now in order to create this. We know that we have to establish our opportunities in talent, in education, access to education, access to other languages, access, for example, I speak English, but I must tell that I am privileged. I think 1 in 1,000 people in my country speaks English or less. So that's these kind of opportunities that we have to create for them, for our countries. And this is not just Bolivia, it's about the other countries as well. But corruption and other things I think are like something very sad for us. But fortunately, we are now in democracy. Fortunately, we are now trying to transform our matrix of productive matrix in order that we don't have to depend on oil or petroleum or gas or grains, but we have to transform them. We have to create more knowledge. We have to innovate. So that's why we are now, I think, in the loop, because we are doing many things in a very different way. And I don't know if I answered your question, but you can tell me, Praveen.
That's great. Now, there's a question to you from Shardul. He asked
Mhm.
you, what was the best and the worst moment in your entrepreneurial journey?
The best. You know, 4 years ago, I was hired to be part of a program, and it was very challenging because I had to travel once a week to another city. It's 1 hour flight, and I had to teach technology projects, entrepreneurship, to a group of 30 people, very small, but they were from the rural area of one of the parts of my country, and they didn't, and the Spanish was the second language. They speak Chiman, other languages, Chiman, Guarani, other languages. And it was very challenging for me. I invented many ways to teach them technology, to teach them innovation, to teach them projects. I thought that I was the expert. At the end of 1 year, they were the experts because I was not the expert. I learned a lot of forest, a lot of how to how to be with the animals, how to be in a place where we don't have a door. Uh, I've learned a lot. They were very good people with me. They taught me to see the problems in other ways. They have a lot of different solutions in my expected tests and expected results. Sorry, and it was very interesting because after 1 year, uh, I had to cook. Even I had to cook for them. To be honest, I cook, but I don't cook for more than 10 or 20 people. But I had to cook for 200 people because I said, I challenge you because I can cook very well. I am a great cooker, by the way. And I said, okay, I will do this for you. And every little thing that we done together during that year was very transforming for them, but for me. Then that's why when I could understood my country, because I noticed that it was not the urban area. You are in good places, good restaurants, good hotels. No, there's another place, and I would like to share that picture with you because they were so important to me. But you know why is important? That one of them came from a very small town, and he started to teach what he learned to the other guys. I will show you this picture because this is very transforming. And of course, I will take 1 minute, just 1 minute, because I have the picture here, and I would like to share that with you. That's what multiplier effect means. Give me 1 minute, please. One minute. And that's why I was very transformed by that. That was my best moment. I still remember, and I am still in contact with them, with all of them. And here it is. I was looking to that picture this morning because they are my inspiration. This small group of people. Okay, I will share it with you. They are from Colonia Piraí, and they really are now in a better place. I created, we were in the 5 stars hotel because we wanted to give them the experience through this project. So when I talk about innovation, I work a lot in the cities, and these are the kind of students I have. I usually have. These students are small businesses. This is people is very well educated, and they are trying to do the best for their businesses. And these were my students in Colonia Piraí. They were 23, and one of them, this one, Abraham. Where is Abraham? He works in a small town, in a national park. And then he sent me this picture, and he told me, "You're teaching us, and look what I'm doing for my people." And this was very, I said, oh, it was, I said, I didn't lose my time. It was great. They are doing what I taught them. So this is the best moment of my life.
You know, Gautam is asking Allison, and probably this is your favorite question, because you remember when we spoke when I was in Bolivia, and you answered this question. What has been your tipping point, Allison, from the community that you belong to where you are today? The transition.
The tipping point in my life?
Yep.
Okay. The tipping point in my life was to travel to the United States and to study in Georgetown University. Why was my tipping point? I didn't tell you this, Praveen, in our interview, but when I was granted with a scholarship, I had to decide being a wife or study. I talked with my boss. In that time, I had a good boss, and I told him, "Hey, I won a scholarship in Georgetown University, but if I travel, my husband, who cheated on me, he will leave me. So what should I do?" And he told me, "If you don't travel to the United States and take that scholarship, you're fired." And I said, "Okay, I understand. I need to travel." So I traveled there, and 6 months, 7 months, when I came back to my country, I was very different, because I was not just crying because of my problems or because of my personal things, because I was with a mindset. I said, the world is big. We have a huge, I don't know, space to make impact for other people. So that's why a tipping point. And since then, I started to build many things. I become the president of this alumni network in Georgetown as a Bolivian, as a girl, and it was very powerful. And this was one of the tipping points in my life, and I always appreciate that opportunity that someone created for me, because the scholarship was paid by someone. And I always say thank you, and you will never regret, because you gave me that opportunity. That was.
Allison, our past president, Anand Gupta, is asking, how is the law and order in your country? Any gender inequality?
Yes. It's hard. We have I think that our rate in feminicide is very high. So that's very sad, because many people, many women are fighting for the rights. And of course, we have some big steps, but I think that is not because you're a woman, you deserve a place. You're a woman, you need to be here. We need a woman in a board. No, I strongly believe that we have to be there because we are talented people. We are people, we are talented because we access to education. That's why I strongly believe in education. And that's why we teach to our young girls. I said, okay, it's not because you're a girl that we are going to be hired. It's because you are talented. It's because you're the great in many people, you're the best. So please study and become the best version of you. And in my country, it's difficult. We have few people, few women in many important positions. but this will change because we are working for that. And it's hard as well because, as I told you, probably 40 or 50 years ago, we weren't allowed to go to school. Uh, and just these generations are accessing to school, accessing to education, accessing to opportunities, accessing to learn more languages. So it's kind of hard. Um, but we are doing our job and we have to work for our women.
So, on the same lines, Arvind is asking, what is the literacy level for women in Bolivia?
Sorry?
What is the literacy level
Oh,
women in Bolivia?
well, it's very low. We don't have a lot of information, but for example, we have what with this for every 10 people that goes to the university, 4 are women, and but at the beginning. But when you end this university, because we have that information, just one of the 4 finished. And you say, what happened during the journey? What's wrong? And it's because they don't feel empowered. They don't feel that they have the talent to continue. In other cases, they have to. They are, I don't know, the older sister, and they have to be like a mother. Another thing is that for some reason, many people think that engineering or mathematics or these kind of very amazing sciences are just for men, and they are difficult. They think that they are difficult, so that's why they leave this. And the other thing is because in some way, it happens something very interesting. When you have a man and a woman, I just said you have to pay, I don't know, $300, $200 for a training. You know, the men say, okay, I will do it. I need this training. This will be great for me and for my company. Or education for me of my company. And when you say to a woman, this is how this training costs, she said, let me think, my family, let me think. We have to take this money for other things, for food. Let me think. And she said, but you need to train yourself. You're as well important as a man. And she said, yes, but I think I have to think in my community. So we said, come on, we need to start to teach them that we have to think in our community, yes, but we have to think in ourselves as well. Because if you're a well-trained woman in businesses, in many different careers, you will gain more money, and you will be able to take care of your family and your community. But that's something that we are trying to change now.
Next question to you, Allison, Pinakin, and Smita. They ask you, how do you think a country can overcome corruption? A country like India or Bolivia can overcome corruption.
I remember 2 years ago, I was in Georgetown University and I was talking with the dean, and I asked him, hey, what's the main problem in Latin America from your point of view? And he told me corruption. And I said, yes, I agree with you. And how can we fight it? And he told me, it's very difficult. But there's one word, accountability. Accountability, we need to work on that. And we need to teach to the young generations that we can make this change based on values. It's a huge, huge, huge problem, to be honest. But I strongly believe that we can make a change on this. And the other thing is that we have to prepare the future politicians with values. This program that I was part of had this kind of purpose. 11, 12 years ago, they started this project in Georgetown, and today, one of them become president, many of them become ministers, and they are leading their countries. But it was a long-term project. So if we want to change our countries, we need to start now and say, okay, in 5, 10, 20 years, we will have the politicians we would like. But since they are young, I think that's one of the ways.
Allison, first lady of this club, Sunanda Chande, she's asking you, what are the main difficulties faced by social entrepreneurs? How do they solve?
Can you repeat the first part, please?
What are the main difficulties faced by social entrepreneurs and how do they solve it?
I think the main difficulties are that when you think social, you think hard. Philanthropy, that you're a philanthropist, that you are just helping, you're a good person. Yes. And I think that's a weakness because you need to be, you need to you want to change the world. Yes. And you have a lot of love to give. Yes. But I think that the main difficulties are because you are very oriented to give, but you don't think in the strategy to grow. And you don't balance the strategy with giving. And I think when you're successful is because you learn to balance and you learn to build a strategy as a business. And then you say, okay, we have a purpose and we are going to put a strategy, not because of me, because if we don't have a strategy, a business strategy, we are not be able to help in the next years to the people that we are helping now. So I think that's one of the difficulties, because many people say it's because we don't have money, it's because we don't have access to financial aids. But at the end of the day, today we have a lot of social impact investors that are looking for great ideas to change the world. But of course, they have to be very well. They have to own very good business strategies as well. So I think that we have to learn as social entrepreneurs how to build these strategies and how to balance this in order to follow and to build the solutions to the problems of the world. And that was one of our main difficulties at the beginning. We didn't understand that, but as you know, I have my private company as well. So we could, as a team, we could balance this. And when I have to teach this to other people, I always say, don't just feel with your heart. Always think with your head, because you have to make this project for 10, 20, 30 years. So start building the strategy, but don't lose your purpose on the journey. That was one of the big difficulties that we had.
Before I go ahead, there's one correction. The first lady is Sonia Chande and not Sunanda, as I mentioned earlier. Sunanda is Gautam's mom. Sonia was the one who was asking you a question. There's one gentleman, Jaipal Shah, who's raised his hand. Please unmute yourself and ask question, please. Jaipal bhai?
I think he has left, Praveen.
Oh, he's
Well, then I have a question. How have you done any work with Rotary in this? Is there Rotary in Bolivia? Have you done any work with Rotary in this field?
If I done something well with, sorry, the word?
No, with Rotary International.
Rotary. I know, no. No, I didn't. It's like you're a prophet, but not in your country. Yeah. I have friends that work in Rotary here in my city. I have, they are doing great things. But they're just my friends. I know that they do great things, but I was not involved working with them in a direct way.
Okay. You should consider talking to them. Maybe there'll be a lot of complementary work that you all can do within Bolivia.
Oh, sure. I will. Yes, it's a good idea. I will talk with them because they are doing a lot of projects, but their projects were more oriented to health, and that was not aligned because I am very focused in technology, education, and entrepreneurship. And I saw the projects were very oriented to help in a lot of people. and providing many access to health. Basically, I saw that they were working on that.
Listen, one question my friend Rahul is asking here. Can your model be copied in other countries like Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia? And if yes, how do they go about it?
Oh, sure. Yes, I would be very glad. I'm glad to thank you, Rahul, for your interest. Yes, I think we can share some our methodologies depending on working with entrepreneurs or working with young women in technology. Sure. If Praveen can give you my information, I'm sure that we can have a meeting and talk about it. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks to you.
Gautam, you can take over now. Any more questions, please?
Yeah, there's I think one last question from Pinakin Bhai. So how much is labor trouble and how strong are labor unions? I think that's going to be the last question of the day. So how much is labor trouble and are the labor unions strong in Bolivia?
For some reason, it is very, I think it's my internet. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
Question asked by Pinakin Allison is, how much is the labor trouble and how strong are labor unions in Bolivia?
Oh, well, the labor unions are not so strong now. Yes, they are not. I think 30 years ago, 25 years ago, when I was a child, they were very strong. But for some reason, they were becoming weaker every year. And now they try, but they work with the government, so they are very aligned to the government. So they are not so strong as they used to be many years ago. But something that is very important is that when we work with I believe that we have to see the problem, for example, from different places. For example, when you talk about labor unions, you can work from the private sector. You can give your comment from the private sector. You can give your comment from them. You have your point of view from the government, and you have the point of view of the entrepreneurs. One of the reasons, sadly, why we have a lot of informal businesses is because these labor unions were so I don't know how to say it. They didn't take care about the owner of the business. So the law to favor the laborers is very strong. So that's why this is a big problem, and that's why many people doesn't hire in a very transparent way. And that's why, because when you're creating the public policies, you have to see all the actors, and you have to see, okay, we are not just have to favor ones, we have to favor everyone, and we have to build an ecosystem in which everybody can win. So, but this is not happening for now in my country, and I hope this will change in the future.
Excellent.
All right. I think that was fantastic. It's fascinating to see that, though of course there are certain uniqueness to each country. In a lot of ways, we are all, bound by a large commonality. All right. I think there were some fascinating questions. Now, Lomas, Turab, I request you to go ahead with the thank you speech.
Yeah. Thank you, Rotarian Gautam. Hope I am audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So it is a great privilege to give a vote of thanks after such an insightful and encouraging session for all of us here. I am very grateful to Allison for sparing valuable time with us and sharing her views and her journey about social entrepreneurship. I think, although you have said a lot, Allison, but three things which really stood out and which summarized your session for me. The first, which you mentioned about Sampradachi, I'm sorry if I spell it wrong, but you said serving with love. I think that not only applies to serving food to our family members, but also big community service projects. That is something which I really hit me. And the second one, you talked about opportunities, like we do not deserve them unless we fight, for others to achieve them. So that's what I think you have done, that you got this opportunity in the United States on scholarship, and you have now created that for others. So often, like I am quite young, so at a young age, we often engage a lot of competition, rivalry. But I think this is something which we all should learn, that we should collaborate, so we will grow more. And the third, also about social entrepreneurship, I think we get very carried away with community service, but as you mentioned, that ultimately it's entrepreneurship, so it should be sustainable. So we should think by the head and not only by the heart. So I learned a lot from you, and I think everyone has learned a lot. And you also mentioned about turning problems into opportunities. So I think our program committee has done that only, that while we are missing our fellowship and a dinner and everything, but in Zoom, we are able to get someone from Southern Hemisphere to speak to us. So I'm grateful to the program committee for that. And I'm also obviously grateful for the great interaction we had with such an engaging audience. Thank you.